thank you for being here today. We were talking before we started recording, and it's amazing to me that you've put through over 5,000 students through your trade school, your mechanic trade school, Smog school, mechanic school. So, just tell me a little bit about that experience, and maybe share some success stories of the students that you put through.
Oh, absolutely. Well, when you say it like that, 5,000, that touches the heart because it's like, wow, we actually put out that many young men and women out into the automotive industry, working. And when you mentioned the word success story, I immediately thought of Mario. Mario was with me when he was 17. And Mario now has three tire shops,
What?
and he was just hired at San Bernardino College
To teach
to teach
with his shop still running?
with his shop still running, and he's teaching automotive.
That's so many successes. I mean, now he's got businesses that run themselves, which he's a stud in
Absolutely,
his own right there, right? But then,
absolutely.
wow,
And that's just one. And Mario has never worked for anybody other than the college.
wow.
So that's that's the legacy that my wife and I, we chose to put out there. And if I could share with you, Austin, if you don't mind, I'd like to tell you where that come from.
Yeah, absolutely. Please.
I'm gonna get biblical.
Okay.
Um, there's a passage in the book of Matthews where it's the parable of talents. God blessed, one man with one talent, one man with a certain amount of talents, a third man with another amount of talents. And the first two gentlemen, they buried their talents and told God, I know you're a hard and, working, faithful person. So I saved your talents, for you for when you return. Uh, well, God called them lazy and slothful. The third person took the talent and multiplied it. And that's where God told him, my good and faithful service. Master over few, I make you master over many. So where I'm leading with that is this. God bless all of us with a certain talent. It's up to you to multiply that talent.
Mm.
So my talent has always been automotive. So how do I want my legacy to live? And that is, I need to multiply my talent.
Hmm.
So how do I multiply my talent? This is a conversation I'm having with myself. Well, John, open up an automotive school, multiply your talent. And that's where California Smog and Automotive Institute was born.
And you multiplied it over 5,000 times already, and
Over
still going super strong.
Still going super strong. We're 21 students deep right now.
Hmm.
Uh, and, they sign up on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And yeah, over 5,000 strong. And that's what I feel I was mandated to do. I think we're all mandated to acknowledge our talent. Yes, in the biblical, it was a form of money, but you could take it literal. Your actual talent, your talent in the web design industry, in the podcast industry, that's that's a talent that can translate into money. So yes, absolutely. And even Zig Ziglar said, "You help enough people get what they want."
Yep. Givers game. Zig Ziglar was the I loved. I used to live in San Diego and work in Diamond Bar, so I had a
Mm,
super commute. And Zig Ziglar on tapes.
there
That
you
man's
go.
accent still rings in my head sometimes. I need to go back and listen to some of that. But on the money part of it, something that you've told me in the past, I think is amazing. And I don't want to get the details wrong, but students come in, and from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but they end up actually making money because now they can go through the course, and then get to work or something, right? Tell me about that. How long is the thing? Excuse me, how long is the course? And then it was something along those lines, right? Where they end up working, and they're making money to go through this program and to get these skills, right? Or something along those lines.
Well, how it works, the program is 1,700 plus a $75 administrative fee. So once you get your smog license to do smog inspections in the state of California, the prevailing wage starts at $20 an hour. So, you know, they pay 1,700. After a couple of weeks, they got that money back.
Gotcha.
So in reality, they never paid for training at all.
Mm,
They loaned them $1,700 and they got it back after 2 weeks of working in the industry.
there you go.
The second part of that question, we in in 2022 we acquired a former tire location. Kuma Tires right there on Central in
Yeah,
Arlington,
such a great spot.
and we acquired it so that it could be an intern center
That's what it is, right?
for the students. So now a student can attend a class. He can now work at the Smog Check Center, CSEI Smog Check Center, for 2 months. He makes somewhere close to $6,000, $7,000,
That's what it was. Nice.
and he never paid for the course at all.
No, he's up and only using the skills provided by the course for that.
Absolutely.
So, what percentage of students go that path and kind of go through that new location,
Well,
or the goal, I should say, maybe?
well, the goal is 3 every 3 months.
Okay.
That's our goal. Now, to get up to that point, we have to be able to afford
Right.
to pay them. So, anytime you open up a brand new smog inspection location, you have to go a year and a half of proven record before the state will recognize you as a star, a certified
Yeah.
location, and then that's when you can get the full income from the customers.
And you're just past that, or you're close to that, right?
We're past that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we have two students now with us that are they it's it's so nice, Austin, knowing that these young men have a career that they never paid for.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, they have a career that I paid for.
Yeah. Well, and I don't. I've said it on here before. I don't have a college degree. I got 2 weeks of health in college. That's all I've ever done. So I don't have a great number. My wife has a master's, so I have some sense of what it can cost. But even a trade school is in the tens of thousands, I imagine, right? And other degrees can be tens of thousands, 6 figures, whatever. So to be able to get skilled, is it certified? Do they get like a certificate, or is it just the training?
They get the training, and then they could go to the state to take the state exam.
Okay, so they're ready for that exam, and
Absolutely.
they're spending less than 2 grand to
Abs-
start a career path, which is crazy cheap, crazy affordable. I don't want to say cheap because that devalues it, right? But crazy affordable considering what options are out there for people. And this is not going away. I mean, sure, electric cars they're making a push for, right?
right.
But it's not sustainable from the way it looks. It's not going to be any time in the near future that we're not smogging
Absolutely.
cars, and it's new cars anyway, right? So there's still going to be stuff on the road that needs to be smogged. So there's longevity in that career too, it seems.
Absolutely. Well, one of the other items, one of the courses that we incorporate in our training course is from our Sage Leadership Academy. These students, yes, they're taught a career, but the first class they go through before the automotive is life success principles.
Mm,
So they are they are taught that yes, you have a career, but that's not it. Do not let that be the defining moment. Mario was a perfect example of that. You use that as a stepping stone to take you to your next level, or focus on what your passion is
yeah,
and use that as the vehicle to drive you to your passion.
nice. Yeah.
That's our main focus. Um, I was telling the students last night, this is kind of interesting, that in this game of life, when you think about a game, you think about players,
Mm,
scoreboard, referee, a field. You think about our court. You think about, all the everything that's involved with a game.
yeah.
However, a lot of people don't realize in the game of life, there are no players.
Mm,
There is no scoreboard. There is no field or court. It's you playing against you.
that's true.
You know. So So we push that. You are the only competition that you have. You're the only one that's got to get out of the way, you know. So
Yeah.
in this game of life, you have nothing to say other than what am I doing? Because where you are is where you chose to be.
Man, that resonates with me a lot. So before before we started again, you're kind of complimenting me on the growth, and I appreciate that. But I think the key there is exactly what you just said, right? When before we even met, and I've mentioned this on the show, and Derek and I talk about it a lot. He was on the last episode. It was my mindset that was very much holding me back. I was just chilling during the day. I wasn't pushing myself. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't, I was just kind of cruising, um, and even defeatist, right? Because I was like, oh, now we're down and whatever. But I had that negative mindset, and then had that shift. The guys, my team, kind of was like, man, you need to get your head out your butt. We could do better. And then like that motivation, switching my mindset, making me actively like I don't listen to music in the car anymore. I listen to audiobooks. To try to have conversations with a lot of people that are successful, whatever. But those are all things that my mindset shifted. So I started doing these different things. That's allowing the education, which is allowing me to do bigger and different things. But it really comes down to what you just said, like my own bias, my own negativity, whatever was holding me back, right? And once I kind of got, and obviously I still have insecurities, I still have imposter, like you still struggle with all those kind of things, but the mindset of um, abundance and
Hmm.
opportunity and just perseverance, like goes a long way. So what you just said really resonates with me.
Let's unpack that a little bit more, if you don't mind. When you look at the brain, remember all of your past experiences are stored in the limbic system, the lizard brain, and now all of your senses go through the limbic system before it gets to the prefrontal cortex, which is your planning brain.
Hmm.
So if all of your senses, your nose, sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, you know, if that's got to go through the limbic system first, which is designed to protect you,
Mm.
your first decision is going to be based on fear,
Yeah, emotion, fear.
emotion. Is this going to bother? Is this going to hurt me? What am I going to look like? Why? What are they going to say? What are they going to think about me? We have to learn to realize that is just there, Austin, to protect you only when you're in danger.
Yeah, which we haven't been technically for a long time. Like the primal, danger that it's for, right?
It's for
Cavemen eating this is going to kill me. Going outside is going to kill me. Like that kind of stuff is not. We're higher on the pyramid now, but we still have that buffer in there.
absolutely. So your decisions based on, simply to protect you. So recognize, anytime you come across any type of negative thoughts, and this is for anybody, if anybody come across any negative thoughts, know that you're safe.
Hmm.
Tap on yourself, say, hey, you're okay.
Yeah,
And then move forward. Get to that prefrontal cortex where you could plan out, you could strategize, you could organize, you could move forward.
yeah, it's gonna be okay. Do me a favor.
Another flip side of that is that limbic system, that where all of your past experiences are stored,
Yeah,
tells no time. So if you got bit by a dog when you were 3 years old, that dog bit you 5 minutes ago because that part of the brain tells no
yeah.
time.
People are still definitely afraid of dogs, even though they got bit a long time ago and haven't had the same experience
Absolutely,
since.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you brought that forward. And these are some of the things that we share in our automotive training as well as our life success principles classes as well.
that's amazing that they're getting the practical knowledge both as a person, how they should some ideas on how to think and how to direct yourself in life on top of these skills. So
Hmm.
that's amazing that that's part of it. And hopefully you guys expound on that with your marketing and with your getting it out there, which kind of leads me to a question. So you started the school how long ago? 20 years or so?
Yes, we started the school in February 2004.
2004. Okay, so you've celebrated 20 years then.
We celebrated 20 years in February.
Wow, nice. Congratulations.
Yes.
What was the journey like? How did you, because from what I understand, so Gilbert, who runs the shop, is in my BNI group, and I didn't realize that it started with the school with him as a student, if I remember right,
That is correct.
and then he pushed, from what he says, I think he pushed to kind of have the shop also, which you guys did, or together or whatever. But that wasn't right away. Right? That's something that came later. So what was that journey like? Like how did you start the school? How did you get students into the school? How did you grow the school? How did that turn into having the shop? What was that journey like?
You know, I wish I could tell you. uh, I I wish I could tell you. It's quite interesting. Um, when we started the school, uh, well, the first thing I did was I did postcard mailings.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we back up a little bit further?
Absolutely.
You were in Washington, right? Or right?
Washington,
You were in
correct.
Washington. Um, Came here for I forget what reason. Decided to do something. Put it all on the table. Had a conversation with your lovely wife where it was like, "We're doing this or we're not. Let's do it." And that so like that story, if you want to share it, that story is amazing to me. Maybe because that's like the inception of it, the idea, the push, the sacrifice, the decision to go all in is so critical to the start of all of this. Is that something you could share?
Oh, absolutely. That in Washington State, I worked as an automotive technician at a dealership, and then I taught at the Professional Automotive Training Center, Shoreline Professional Automotive Training Center, in the evenings. So I worked from 8 to 5, and then I taught from 6 to 10, which I'm still doing today. And that started in 1998. Um, so we decided to relocate to Southern California, we chose Riverside, and my plan was to do the same thing. Um, and again, going back to biblically, the whole purpose of me teaching back in Washington was to multiply my talent.
Yeah.
Uh, so so when we got here to Riverside, I was immediately hired at the Riverside Unified School District.
Okay.
I chose not to because that type of income couldn't afford the life I wanted to provide my wife.
Hmm.
Um, of course, she's most important. So secondly, um, I decided to work at a dealership, Moss Brothers,
Hmm.
and then I was going to teach at the college. And what I wanted to teach was the Smog program. Summarize this real quick. Um, I attended a Smog school, an automotive school, and working at a professional automotive training center and seeing this place, I knew that my competition was minimum.
Oh, really?
It's like, you really consider this as a school?
Wow.
Like, no, no, this is not a school.
Huh?
So I came home and told my wife that I'm opening up a school. And because she heard me gripe and complain about this place that I was attending.
Yeah.
And so, of course, she was nervous, and one of the things that I felt to do was lay out the plan to her.
Hmm.
So I just sprung it on her. We're opening up a school.
We're doing this.
We're doing this.
No details. It's happening.
No details. It's happening. And see, Austin, I'm I live by this quote: "If you want to take the island, burn the boat."
Yep.
So I came home and I burned the boat, quit my job, maxed out all my accounts,
Whew. All in.
all in. Even after 6 months, I took a loan on the house. So all in. Uh,
Okay.
uh, and uh, and you mentioned Gilbert. Gilbert was one of my. He was in the second class.
Oh, really?
He was, and the first class was. I got the students from again postcards, going to the different dealerships, introducing myself, showing them my resume, my automotive resume, letting them know that we have a school, that how I can enhance their automotive program, their repair department, and it just started growing from there.
Nice. How are
Uh,
you received by the dealerships?
oh, very well.
Yeah. Because
They
you're augmenting stuff that they already offer, or is this to help new talent get in? Is it to help existing
it,
mechanics at the dealerships, or
it's actually both. Uh, um, to help new students get in because right now there's a 700,000 technician shortage.
dang,
So they
that's worse
knew
than pilots.
they so they knew that I can be funnel
Hmm.
to them, and with my 30 plus years of working in the automotive industry, I was able to elevate their technicians.
Hmm.
And we're talking about some reputable dealerships, Walters Mercedes, Savage BMW. I've trained technicians in pretty much all the dealerships local here in the Inland Empire.
So are there two within the school? Are there two? Or I guess I should say, is there more than one kind of course? Then is there like the entry level, kind of smog course or the entry level mechanic course, and then there's also courses that are more tailored, or is it kind of adding those specific skills to those existing technicians?
All of the above.
Okay.
The couple of things that we implemented was of course, air conditioning. You have to be certified, federally certified to do air conditioning. So we trained them on the air conditioning, got them certified, and the state requires that their repair technicians be updated,
Okay.
um,
Like continuing education kind of stuff.
continuing
Okay.
education. So California Smog and Automotive Institute, what we did was we designed the courses for the Bureau of Automotive Repair,
Oh,
and those courses taught the technicians the new technology, even how to quickly diagnose the old technology as well.
oh. Because new technology wise, I've been by the shop, and one of the newest things I saw was that you actually have the alignment and the sensor checking and the computer plug-in whatever for like Teslas and stuff, the ones that can drive themselves to make sure they're calibrated correctly, or if they're in an accident be checked, like that kind of stuff, right? So that's in there.
Absolutely. It's called ADOS,
ADOS.
uh, um, the driver assist program. And yes, we that's our newest technology that we've trained technicians how to use. We have the latest ADOS equipment, the same equipment that Walters Mercedes would have.
Wow.
Because again, their technicians need to learn how to use that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we train them in that area as well.
So in my car, my Lexus, and maybe your wife's Mercedes too, when you go to change lanes, it like vibrates at me and yells at me if I don't have my turn signal on. Is there a way to turn that off?
Unfortunately,
Can I pull? Can I pull? Can I?
well,
Can I pull a fuse?
there are some settings. Well, I know in the Mercedes you can go into settings and turn that off.
Oh, I don't know that I can. I need to find mine, man, because that drives me crazy. I'm like, I know how to
Yeah.
drive. Or the worst, and I'm just complaining, but the worst is the braking sensor. Like I'm
Hmm.
pulling into a parking lot, and I know how far I am from the bush. I know I got a foot, and then it does that like slam the brakes on for me, and the noise is like startling. That's all kinds of stuff I wish I could jailbreak my car to get rid of, but
So look at the flip side of that. How many times did that prevent you from having an accident?
none so far. But I'm sure it'll come up.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure in general, I'm sure it's helped a ton of people. Even just if you're slightly distracted, the alert alone,
Oh,
driving
absolutely.
absolutely. But I mean, if I hit a bush, that's on me. So like maybe we could get a speed indicator in there, like 5 miles an hour under, just leave me alone. I don't know. But so you went out and just to kind of circle back, so you went out and met with dealerships. So you went out and physically cold called dealerships. You sent
Absolutely.
out postcards. Were the postcards to the dealerships or to the students or
It's
both?
actually to all the automotive shops in the Inland Empire.
So and then they fed you the students, or did you also market to students as well?
Uh, Mainly to the automotive repair shops. And
Okay.
then once I created a student database and I knew when their license expired, so what I did was I sent out reminders,
Nice.
90, 60, 30 days prior to their license expire. That way I could assure that they're come back into me
Nice.
to for the continuing education to keep their license
Do
current.
you track what percentage of students come back on a regular basis? Like, or do you have a feeling for that?
I I I do not, but
All right.
that is a KPI that's probably extremely.
It could be a good one, right?
It could be a
Because that
good one,
recurring stuff's so much cheaper than new, right? As
right?
far as a marketing thing
Right.
goes.
I tell you, here's something that's interesting, Austin. Because of the simple fact that we sincerely care about their personal growth,
Yeah.
that they know that, they feel that.
Yeah.
Um, Ken Blanchard taught me in his book, Raving Fans. And that's what you want to do. You want to create raving fans.
Yeah.
You don't want customer, you know, service. You want raving fans.
Yeah.
And I want to share something with you that I learned from a drug dealer.
Okay.
There's two things I learned from a drug dealer. Number one, do you know what the difference is between a drug dealer and an entrepreneur?
One goes to jail if they get caught. They're both out there hustling and
Oh,
putting it on the
absolutely.
line.
One creates a need that they satisfy.
Yeah, yeah,
The other one surveys the land,
yeah,
finds a need, and goes to satisfy it.
yeah, yeah. I can't hook anybody on my services.
The so so unfortunately, I got addicted to drugs, and I remember how I did get addicted. He created a raving fan out of me.
Yeah, but you had no choice, right? Like an addicted raving fan, right? First one's free kind of deal.
Absolutely, and once it wasn't free, but it was half the price.
Right, right. I smoked a lot of weed, and my guy would just toss me a bag. I wouldn't think about it. And back in the day, same thing. Like it was just
Oh yeah,
made it easy.
you went nowhere else.
Yeah, yeah,
So even that same principle apply in business. What's wrong with going out of your way and taking care of your customers, giving them that bag of weed?
yeah, yeah. No,
Not literally,
right.
but you
Well, I
know.
don't know. Depends on what your business you're in or now, but
Well, absolutely. The dispensaries, they give out,
yeah,
free grams all day long.
yeah, yeah,
Again, the whole, you know, thought behind the business process is to create raving fans out of your customers. So students are my customers, and of course, in our automotive shop, we create raving fans out of our automotive customers as well.
yeah.
I'll give you an example. We had a customer come in, and her visor clips were broken,
Hmm.
and she said nothing about it. And it came in for a leak. We repaired the leak, repaired the car, and the guys know that if they see something that they could easily take care of, fix it. Don't brag about it. Don't look for a reward. Don't charge customer. Matter of fact, don't even tell them that you fixed it.
Hmm.
Take care of it.
Yeah.
And so I got a phone call and like, oh my God, your guys replaced both my visor clips without telling me. Oh my God, I can't believe you guys would do that.
That's killer.
And so what is that customer now going to do?
Rave about you. And
Absolutely.
in our industry similar. Like, there's a lot of I guess in every industry, there's a lot of bad actors too, right? People that would have seen that clip and charged double for that 50-cent part, charge them an hour of labor to do two screws. You know what I mean? So beyond the fact that you guys are doing it for the right reason, you'll get the recognition, or it can
Absolutely.
pay out, but you do it either way. I can tell by the way you do it either way. In an industry that is so known to be the opposite. So I think that with us, the two things: one, I don't think we'd be in business if we didn't try to go above beyond as much as possible.
Right.
If we were less scrupulous and we billed for all of our hours, we'd be a lot richer, right? But that's not what we do. And then two, like even with that, that's kept us around and kept us, alive but not
Hmm.
thriving. And one of the changes I made when I kind of got back into it in 2022 was to stop and just look back at our processes, because we went from like three guys that just kind of all knew our jobs and just kind of did what we needed to do, and then we'd kind of talk about it occasionally, and stuff
Hmm.
would fall through the cracks. There was no consistency, there was no system behind it. So like the first year of just kind of restarting the company, essentially, that was the focus, was for that reason, right? Well, to create the raving fans, but to just do good quality work, knowing that retention is huge, especially in our business, like because ours is recurring payments, right? So our
Right.
retention is a payment every single month, and to see people falling off too frequently, to have too high of a churn rate, was like, let's fix that first and then start marketing it as a marketing company. Because not well, actually, that's even why I started my company in the first place. The company I was at, a web design company, we weren't doing the work. I wasn't, as a salesperson at the time. I would use my contacts and relationships to bring an account in. I'd get my first commission off of the first deposit. Production sucked. We wouldn't get the work done. So I'm burning that bridge with that relationship. I'm not getting my second payment. I'm not getting referrals. So when I left, I was like, I need to go do the opposite of that. I'd rather have a few customers that I'm really diligent about, really caring
Hmm.
about, and then that'll grow from there. So the raving fans thing, I think is critical.
Oh, absolutely. Great book to read for all the business owners out there. It's by
Okay.
Ken Blanchard. It's called Raving Fans. We give them away as often as possible. You're in marketing. What is the number one marketing?
The number one, well,
It's
everything is marketing in a business, right? How
every
you service things, how you
mhm,
deliver, how you present. But customer service and retention, it's less expensive marketing wise to
absolutely.
keep a customer or to get a referral from a customer than it is to do advertising.
Absolutely. So let's unpack the referral part. You know, when a customer tells another customer about your company, I mean, that's
Well, and in sales, we call that a laydown, right? Because they're going to show up and just sign. They're not going to be price shopping. They're not going to be. They're ready.
hmm. So, so you business owners, we have a choice for marketing. You know, of course, we have the website design, we have the traditional marketing, but the number one marketing is the money and the time you spend with your customers. Let them rave about your business. Let them go and tell others about your business.
Yeah.
It's the majority of my customers and my students. When I say customers, I'm referring to the automotive business.
Yeah.
The students, it's all word by mouth. We have three generations of students.
That's wild.
Uh,
That's got to feel good.
oh, it's crazy. I remember JC. He would come in. He said, "Jonathan, can I bring my son? I don't have a babysitter." So yeah, so he would sit. Little Jonathan is his name, at the computer, and he'll sit there and I put games on for him, and then he now attend the class, and seeing him at 6.
Dang.
And now he's a automotive technician working with his dad.
That's super cool.
It is.
So I mentioned this in a previous episode, but marketing is advertising. Let's just call it, like Google ads and things like that. Advertising it's still important to feed the funnel, right? But even I mentioned this before. There's a digital marketing guy, a big guy, Neil Patel, that I follow. It's got like I don't know, they're probably 60, $70 million a year business now. And I was watching one of his podcasts, and he's even said that they're like, they cream of the crop for digital marketing. They're like, yeah, 70, 80% of our business is still referral, right?
Hmm.
So, and they're the top of that game, right? So you feed the funnel, but it also, like, if you, it's, yeah, it's very important. It doesn't negate the need to advertise. Cause I had, Drew on with Junk Dogs, and he's like, well, that just shows you don't need to advertise. I was like, advertising still has a place and can still feed the engine and it can still help you outrun your churn rate or whatever. But it's doing that customer service can be such a fundamental thing that grows your business. And yes, it's hard to like plan off of referrals, right? That's
Hmm.
where advertising comes into play. I can spend X number of dollars, get X number of clicks, convert, like if you're doing the math game to generate business, advertising is where you can do that, right? Because you know
Hmm.
what your spend is, you know what the activity is, you can have percentages and that kind of stuff. So referral is less consistent, but man, if you're servicing the right kind of clients and they're referring the right kind of clients to you, it's priceless,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely, uh, absolutely. I capitalize on referrals huge. Eh, I not from a yes, it's from a business point of view, but there's a flip side of that, Austin. I had a customer, you know, and this tugs at your heartstrings. Uh, she needed brakes.
Hmm.
She couldn't afford brakes all the way around. She could only afford, and the economy is tough. It's not going to hurt me to bless her,
Hmm.
you know. And the wife said, you know what? let's let, it's not going to hurt us.
Right.
Put brakes all the way around on her car,
Nice.
and so be a blessing, and watch what that does in return. It doesn't hurt.
I'm a huge proponent or believer in karma and goodwill. Um, I'm not super religious, but I'm faithful. But I do believe in some of those core, like just being a good person, helping people. My dad raised me to be to like pull over and help push a car off the road and those kind of things, or carry bags for somebody. And uh, if nothing else, just while you're here, if you can do a little bit of good and
Absolutely.
not do it to get things back, the
Oh,
world, whatever's out there will reward you, not if you do it for that reward, right? For that, like, you're not trying to keep track of your karma points. I don't think it's going to work out like that, right? But if I just wish more people would care more about just being good people, right? And
absolutely.
helping other people, because it's free to help push a car off the road or to carry some bags or whatever. And it changes that person's day. It might change, who knows what position they're in mentally, right? It might make their whole week, or it might mean nothing to them. I don't know, but you're helping them. So
Absolutely.
those little things I think are so important in life.
And that's the whole village. You know, again, it doesn't hurt. You know, other than this podcast, I would never have told anybody that we took care of this woman's brakes, that we put replace the
Yeah,
clutch
that's
on the
not why
car.
you did it.
That's not why we do it.
Right.
That's not the reward we want.
Right. Right.
If we get a referral out of that,
And a
absolutely,
good Google review,
and
hopefully,
and a
right?
good Google, absolutely. But that's not something I'm going to ask for.
Right. Well,
Not
not
at
in
all.
that scenario. Hopefully, you ask for reviews all the time in the business, but not right after helping somebody, because now that's
Right.
that's that's like the I hate seeing the people on social media that go up to a homeless person and offer them food or money or whatever it is, but they're filming it the whole time. You're not there to help people. You're not there to help that person. You're putting that a light on that person. You're spotlighting that person in their worst so that you can get your ego
Likes.
fed. That's
Ab-
it. And that drives me
Absolutely.
crazy.
One of the things that drive me crazy is codependent relationships.
Mhm.
Oh, it irks me when a company or an owner of a company will they do something for you. Now, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
Oh, and I've experienced that with several local business owners. And
That quid pro quo.
if you don't have the kindness and the love in your heart, you
Yeah.
don't do
That's the
it.
wrong reasons. I mean, it
That's,
comes back to the wrong reasons
that's
for sure.
absolutely. Quickly change subjects. Going back to, I want to share an interesting story with you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
My business plan.
Yeah.
So, so my business plan was quite interesting, and it came from the Bible, the Book of Exodus. No, excuse me, the Book of Numbers. So I'll paraphrase it real quick. So uh, the children of Israel was promised Canaan land. Canaan land was a land that was flowing with milk and honey. There were grapes the size of oranges there, and the land of plentiful. So you could synonymously compare that to your goals, your
Okay.
dreams, your
Mhm.
business. So they had the first thing God told them to do was send out 12 spies to go spy out the land. So the first thing in going into business is going to your research, go spy out the land.
Yep.
And the 12 spies came back, and they came back with this report, and this is all in the Bible, that there's walls that are too tall to climb. There's giants that'll squash us like grasshoppers. There's no way we could take them. You know, one of the 12 had the audacity to say, let us find us a leader to take us back to Egypt,
Mm.
where they were in bondage and enslaved. So let's make a parallel to that. So many people don't go into business because they're afraid of the challenges, the giants, the walls that they're going to have to climb. So they rather retreat back and be an employee.
Which is
which is
Modern bondage. I'm sorry, but the whole economic system. Anyway, go on.
so. Now, two out of the 12, Joshua and Caleb said, no, we could do this. We could take it. Let's go do it. So, parallel, out of the majority of the people you tell your business ideas to, the majority of them going to be naysayers. You're only going to have one or two that's like, Austin, you got this, dude. Go get this.
Yeah.
You do it.
And make sure you hold on to those people.
Right? Exactly. There's only going to be a handful that's going to. Those are the people that want to see you succeed. The other ones they're just expressing their personal feelings.
Yeah.
Their fears. And then so when I started the business, the first thing I did was I spied out the land. And I recognized the challenges. I recognized the walls that I was going to have to overcome. I recognized the giants I was going to have to face.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got prepared for them. So when they showed up, I overtook them. Uh, even the ones that knocked me down on my butt. All right. Oh, okay. I can't face that one that way. I had to retreat, redirect, and
Yeah.
and go back at them from a different standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
So that's where our business model came
I
from.
love that. I need to read that story. I need to reread everything there. But on the referral thing, I didn't want to go back to the referral thing. I just want to ask, do you have, I think it might be even in your software, but do you have a built-in kind of referral program at the shop?
We do. We have a social CRM and we have we use of course, the text messaging. My customers, again, because they are the lifeblood of our business, it is imperative that I monitor every single customer. How did the car turn out? Were
Yeah.
you satisfied with the work? How's it driving now? Is there anything that we can do? These are they get that in a text message as well as a phone call.
Now, is that, I assume that's, so there's a system behind that besides the software, and maybe the system was already built out in the software, but is there like a plan that your team knows that, okay, when they pick up the car, some of it's going to be automatic, right? But it had to be planned out. So there's going to be an automatic test message checking on them. And then there's some kind of trigger that tells Ryan, right, front desk Ryan, maybe to make the call. Or how's that system? Did that system kind of come packaged, or did you guys have to kind of build that system out with your experience, or kind of talk about that system a little bit?
Well, it's a software system that we subscribe to. We just have to capture their email and, of course, their cell phone number to receive text messages, and they have to opt in for text messaging. So it's a software package that we subscribe to. The other software package we subscribe to is every single one of our customers get their own private website.
Yeah, that tool is so neat.
So that a customer could easily go into their website and look at the service history. They could watch videos, different training videos on different parts of their car.
Yeah.
We keep an odometer on the website so that they know when the next service is due.
And it alerts you. So as a customer, right? I have that, right? And it's, for it to have that inspection, I think it alerts us if there's any recalls, shows what they did, reminds us when an oil change is due. You have a system that you embraced. And I think that's a great takeaway for business owners in every industry. The service industries, automotive, plumbers, I think have some like field routes and like Service Titan. Some of them have some really neat systems. They're not all cheap. Junk Dogs has like their system, right? And those tools have been so amazing, I think, for one, not reinventing the wheel, because it's such an important component, that follow-up. We don't have anything like that in our business that I'm aware of yet, but I need to figure it out better. But we also don't do, we were servicing like 20 recurring clients at a time, right? So we kind of have a direct relationship. But anybody that's got people coming in and out on a regular basis, spend the time to either research and invest and buy or sign up for or build some system like that, because
absolutely
having that information available, having that follow-up, like having something that's prompting me when a warranty thing is due, when an oil change is due, that you guys don't have to think about,
right?
That's automatic marketing. That's automatic follow-up. That's automatically taking and you're already paying. You're paying. I assume you're paying a flat fee, excuse me, maybe a per text amount, but it's a minimal cost compared to like running Google Ads to find somebody for an oil change, which is a low margin service potentially, right? Versus
Right.
somebody that you just send out a text and the software you're already paying for, they show up. Like those tools are so important.
Absolutely. And again, let's add the passion piece into this. Recognize that you do not pay the bills. Your customers do.
Yeah, I work for every client. Absolutely.
So recognize that.
Yeah, people say you don't have a boss. I was like, man, I got like 40 right now. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
absolutely. It is imperative that you take care of those that take care of you.
Yeah,
And every single person that walks into your business, they personally are taking care of you. They're paying your car note, they're paying your house note,
yeah.
whether you want to accept that or not.
It's fact, whether you
It's
like it or
fact.
not. Unless you, yeah, the money's coming from them. They're supporting you.
Absolutely. So take it personal. Make sure that that customer is very well maintained, very, very well taken care of.
Yeah,
Our mission statement is simple. It is our responsibility to maintain your car, not yours.
yeah.
If we fail to uphold our responsibility, then we failed as your service provider.
I love that.
And it's just plain and simple. You know, uh, I'm a big component on passion. Again, it's probably because of coming from nothing. You appreciate everything. So, you know, I pray to God that I never ever get complacent in recognizing that my growth is because of me. No,
Yeah, it's bad. Let me tell you, it's bad. I have 5 or 6 years of it, maybe a little bit more. It is not helpful in any way, man. It is,
uh,
yeah, yep.
when you come from nothing, you appreciate everything, and I am so grateful. I'm grateful for the people I meet. I'm grateful for being in this you know three business position.
Yeah,
Think about it. We have three businesses as a result of really just taking care of those that take care of you.
absolutely. Yeah,
It's uh, yeah, you have to be passionate about it.
yeah. No, and if you're not, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's
Hmm.
and that's part of what I recognize, like not having good systems and stuff, even though we care, right? If we're not, you got to take that care and passion and couple it with systems and processes to make sure you can maintain that level, right? Because it's
Absolutely,
it's one thing to know that you want people to be happy, and to let your people know that you want people to be happy, but it's another thing to know how that carries through. And I mean, you've got last time I was there, I think you had 4 or 5 at least people in the shop. They're they're still going to be passionate, but they're never going to be as passionate as the owner. They're probably not going to be as passionate. There's degrading passion, in
hmm
the different levels. So having systems and processes that take your passion and your care for your customers and feed those through is huge. And that's something that we're still, well, I think we'll always be working on it, right? But it's something that honestly only in the last few years have we really tried to be mindful about being better about. So and how to track those KPIs and stuff like that. So it's such a key part of it.
absolutely, absolutely. Customers have gotten so used to the status quo that when they walk into a business that does just one thing better, oh my God, they're excited. And we're talking just one thing better,
Yeah.
because the customer service is so plateaued.
I feel like it's going backwards, man. I don't even know I plateaued.
you know, it's almost like they can't go beyond, you
They're
know.
really going backwards, man. People don't answer the phone. Um, but yeah, it's so critical and so important to care about it and have it in the systems and have it
Ah,
just be mindful. Yeah, it's wild that people don't care anymore, and that I was listening to a book a couple of days ago, and I forget which book or who by, but he was talking about being it's the one page marketing plan. I forget the guy's name, but one of the things he was saying is be innovative, right? And he's like, but stop and think about what innovative means, because I'm not saying you need to be the forefront in some kind of leading technology or whatever. Just being good at customer service, having you guys have a really cool front lobby that people can sit there, work on their laptop, see the monitors, what's happening in their car, so they don't have to stand behind somebody to look over their shoulder. But like that innovation in the shop changed people's perspective, especially on their first time with you. Like, in BNI, I forget who, but somebody just brought their car there. And it's like, I had to work. It was amazing. I went up there and it was air conditioning. I had a comfy chair. I could see what was going on. I had good Wi-Fi. I had water. Like, that's a way to, when you're passionate and to innovate the customer service experience, which unfortunately you're right. I think the bar's pretty low right now in that respect. So it's easy to innovate in that area potentially. But even those little things can go such a huge way in creating, that village of passionate people that refer to you.
Oh, absolutely. It I think about your big website giants, your Amazon, Toomey, it's Toomey or
I'm not sure which one, but
you
there's so
know,
many.
there's so many. Uh, there's no customer interaction at all. It's just here's give me the money, here's your product.
Yeah, one call center like GoDaddy and stuff like that. You
Oh,
call in and
yeah, there's zero.
yeah,
So imagine when a customer comes to you and they actually have an interaction. It's meaningful.
yeah. I mean, owners know that you can call me anytime. I might not, if I'm not available, I'm not going to answer, right?
Hmm.
But I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not going to be offended. I'm going to call you right back as soon as I can, and we're going to talk about it. And like just being accessible in a world where people don't even answer their phones anymore. It's like, to me, it's a small thing to be available, right? It's hard to scale that way if
Right.
people are expecting to always have, that owner interaction. But it's still important to have some of my guys do it. Like even one of the things that we were struggling with was email responses because my PM Dan's kind of the hub of everything coming in, right? And the work being assigned and all that stuff. And I was noticing that emails were kind of falling off. Like some would be like the next day or whatever. And so we had to put in, we've got our best practices kind of just, Word document outline. When we added, there's like people need to get a response within an hour,
Yeah.
period, to email, which is kind of long, but let's start somewhere, right? Because he's got a lot going on. But at least acknowledge receipt, say you're looking into it, whatever. But like those little, again, systemized kind of best practice SOP things for customer service can make such a big difference and really change how people perceive you and deal with you.
Let me share a secret with you real quick. One of the things that I did prior to opening up our automotive shop, we opened up our automotive shop in 2007. So one of the things that I did prior was I went and visited the top automotive dealerships in Southern California.
Mhm.
I walked around Fletcher Jones in Newport. I walked around Penske in West Covina, just pretending to look at cars. But what I was doing was I was gathering information. How are they talking to us?
Mhm.
What did their service department look like? How was the customers treated? And one of the things I saw at Fletcher Jones in Newport was the monitors in the service office and in the customer waiting room. And on those monitors were cameras of the shop
Mhm.
so that the customers could sit there and see their cars getting worked on. Oh, great idea. So I implemented that.
Yeah.
I bought a Lorex camera system, inexpensive. I bought two 56-inch TVs, and now the customers could sit there and they could look up and see their car being pulled out. They could see the technician working on their car. It provides a level of transparency that makes them feel safe,
Yeah.
makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Remember, when a customer feels safe, they prefer to shop at places where they feel safe and comfortable.
I mean, life, right? They prefer to be where they feel safe, right? That's that basic lizard brain you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like you want to be safe. So, and I think it's important for people to look at it that way too. That I mean, our first proposals, I got like 4 or 5 proposals from competitors, and
Mm-hmm.
and took this idea, this structure, this piece of it, and I think people need to be aware and not afraid to do their research, like you mentioned earlier. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to steal. Like you don't that idea, carrying that over, fantastic. Like if you're getting somebody's proposals, don't copy and paste and like plagiarize and right, but you can read through it and understand what they're doing and learn from it and apply it. Like
Absolutely.
don't stand on the shoulders of giants. Like I tell people that all the time, give me 3 websites you love. I'm not going to copy any of them, but tell me what features make sense for your business and what you like about them. And I'll use that as our inspiration to build yours because it's already out there. Like there's so little, like we were talking about innovative earlier, like it's tough to come up with really brand new ideas right now.
Absolutely.
And and if you're going to put the energy into that and it just turns out there's 50 other people already doing it, you could have just already learned from that and saved yourself a ton of time and energy and pushed your business further and further forward. So like don't be afraid to get inspiration wherever you can,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Knowledge is the one thing you can steal that nobody would know is stolen.
Yeah.
So rip people off, you know. There's I don't know who came up with this definition, but the definition of R&D, research and development, is really rob and duplicate.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially reverse engineering it. Yeah.
you know, so if there's any business owners listening to this, learn from people that's smarter than you.
Yeah. Right. And they're out there. Don't assume you're the smartest one and you're going to figure it out yourself
Uh,
because you could be a genius. There's still plenty of people that there's some very not smart people that probably have some really neat ideas they put into their business. So
uh,
don't let your ego stop you from it either.
oh, absolutely. You know, not one person smarter than the rest of us.
There's always something to glean from something. There's um, in my leadership Riverside interview, they asked me, they're like, you're going to come up with people that have different viewpoints from you, have different experiences, backgrounds. How will you deal with that? And I was like, I mean, I'm just going to listen. Like, I'm not smart enough to tell anybody they're right or wrong, right? And if I don't agree with it, I'm going to listen because there's, I don't want to get into the political split in our country right now, but I
Right.
think that as people right now, our problem is that we want to be so correct where we're at or whatever it might be that we're just not willing to listen. But there's always nuggets in there. There's always middle ground. There's always another perspective that might either improve or alter your perspective. Like there's just to think you've got anything nailed down 100% and nobody else can know, you know what I mean, right, wrong from
Right.
what it's just to me that's mind boggling, right?
Yeah.
But it feels like there's a lot of that out there right now.
Yeah. People are starting to get to the point to where one is better than the rest,
Yeah,
and which is not true. We're humans were meant to cohabitat.
yeah, we're pack animals for sure.
Absolutely. You know, the term I'm looking for is oh, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but we're designed to live off of each other. We need each other 100%.
Yeah,
So, you know, that's the value of love. That's the value of listening to what your brother is
yeah.
saying.
You don't have to agree to listen and be compassionate. Like that's the crazy part.
Or force your opinion, your ideology, because you think it's right for you.
The flip side of that is somebody with a completely different perspective feels exactly the same way, and you're probably both wrong. There's probably something, some you were and just on the pack animal thing, I'm pretty sure you were in the chamber meeting where the blue zone people presented.
Correct.
And one of the things they talked about was that loneliness and isolation is an epidemic right now. People used to have 5 or 6 good friends they would hang out with. Now they have like one or none, and it creates depression. It lowers lifespan. Like there's data apparently that shows that we thrive off of each other's interactions and love and support, and and we're really, especially post COVID, have really pushed away from that and really become isolationist, and that's not healthy for us, right?
And not healthy at all. We need we need each other.
Yeah, you were talking about the hugs one. What was the hugs one? We're going to
That
the chamber. I had like 30 people that day, man.
that's a, Victoria satire. You know, she says we need 4 hugs to survive a day,
Mm.
10 hugs to thrive, and I forget what the rest of the number of hugs. But that interaction is definitely necessary. I don't know how I managed to accomplish this, but me and my employees, we hug every time we see each other.
Ah, that's cool.
Me and the customers hug every time we see each other.
I'm a hugger, so I'm with it. But
You know, it helps. It provides that man, this political climate that we're in, it's It's horribly dividing, and humans are not meant to be divided. We're not.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that they are willing to listen to each other and steal each other's ideals.
Man, I swear these fools go behind the scenes and high five, and they're out there putting on an act, man. They're out there, putting on their show.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I don't know.
I,
I try to avoid the politics specifically too much, but it is core to what's going on out there is not conducive. And if you do try to parallel that to business, having like you guys have the hugs, I make sure the guys in the office, at least every day when I come in, I'll try to give them a pound or something. We're not really huggers in the office, um, but it's important, right, to have that connection. And you know me out there, I had to start being more careful because I'm used to I'll just hug everybody,
right.
not like a full, yeah, but at least like a one arm, give them a hug.
Absolutely.
Um,
We got
and
on
it's not
church.
as accepted as it used to be. So now I got to be like, are you a hug? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Because you got to be careful too. But I think it's important too.
Yeah, we call those church hugs.
Yeah, yeah. Just the social.
But just like you said, dap them up, pound them up,
Yeah,
and the you know that employees don't quit jobs; they quit people.
yeah. They don't. Yeah, they don't hire. They don't. Yeah, people don't buy from companies. They buy from people. People don't.
Yeah,
They don't leave because of companies. They leave because of people. Absolutely.
absolutely. So you know when you dap up your employees, when you hug your employees, we are my employees know everything that's going on in the business, all the way down to the dollars.
Hmm.
Uh, um, why? Well, they're the lifeblood of the business.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to include them in everything that's going on? All my decision making is going through them. Again, they are the lifeblood of the
There's
business.
definitely at least two schools of thought on that.
Yeah.
I was more on the sharing side. Now I'm kind of less on the sharing side.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there's just because it can go both ways, right? Like um, I was very open with the team, right? And it was just three of us at the time.
Hmm.
And then like we lost an account. So at lunch, I was like, hey guys, we lost this one. In my mind, I'm thinking like, here's the challenge that just showed up. We're gonna push through it. Now you guys know about it. But then I had like down morale for like the next like 3 or 4 months, killing productivity and stuff. So it's and like my business coach was like, you have to make decisions. So I'm not sure. I'm not saying I agree with either one
Hmm.
100%, but depending on the size and scope of your company and what your intentions are and what your culture are,
Oh,
it
absolutely.
can kind of go either way, right? And what and maybe even how the employees are as people too, right? Because like some employees will hear that you did $1 million this year in the business and be like, oh, where's my 500,000, right? And you're like, dude, where's my 500,000, right?
Right.
Where's I think you honestly made a little bit more than I did this year, right? Like they won't believe that ever, but we get paid last, so how you present it, I like to share too, especially with my
Right.
core team, right? I want them to be aware of it, your leadership team, whatever. And depending on how many employees you are and have what they have,
Right. Oh,
you got to pick
absolutely.
and choose, I
And
guess. But
their position in the company.
yeah,
When we come across a challenge, you know, of course, I'm the ultimate decision maker, but I'm going to get their input.
yeah, there's
You
value
know,
in that.
and how can we move forward? And how can we prevent this from happening in the future? What steps do you think we need to take from this point forward? What processes can we implement? These are all valuable questions. And and one of the things that it does, Austin, it creates a sense of belonging.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
key.
And that's key. When you think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the top, they all searching for that sense of belonging,
Yeah,
that self-actualization.
yeah.
And that's man, I wish that could be on the forefront of a lot of bosses.
I think that could be too good. Now, that being said, I bet Gilbert has a much deeper understanding of like the bottom line and everything than the mechanic you just hired 2 months ago. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like the new kid that you just hired, right? So that's where getting him on the team and knowing where he kind of fit in and everything. Like I'm sure that there's, in my mind at least, there's kind of a build up process, right? But having that goal of inclusion and
Hmm.
team member and supporting and all that kind of stuff, like all those positive things can go a long way.
We just hired a new young man, and we have a mandatory read. They have a book they have to read prior to starting employment, um, and it's raving fans.
Hmm.
They need to know where we at. You know, what's our end objective? Because it's not about money. You know, I don't know who said it, but they say if you do what you love, the money will follow.
Yep.
And
Yeah, you hear that a lot in different versions, but yeah, for sure.
absolutely. So you know, they're brought on knowing that our customers are number one. Period. And so um, we bring them in, uh, um, making them inclusive of the company.
I like that. I'm
Uh,
having that in the onboarding is cool. And I need to listen to that book. I've heard versions of, creating raving fans, and I don't think I've read that one, but I'll put it on my list. I listen in the car, but still, I'm gonna
it's
listen.
it's a fun book.
Is it
Oh, you'll read it in a day.
nice? Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun book. Good story uh, uh, about a fairy godmother. His name is Charlie.
Okay. Okay. It's very modern.
Charlie even jokes about that in the book, and he loves to golf. You know, he'll disappear end up on the golf course somewhere, but he takes a branch manager on a tour of 5 companies
Uh,
and 5 superb customer
so he's
service.
the fairy godmother of businesses, future, past, and present.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he takes them on a journey of 5 companies, and just so that the branch manager could see what these companies are doing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like he took me to this bookstore, and he wanted to buy this book for his wife, and the store didn't have the book. So the lady went behind, closed doors, and made a phone call to a local bookstore. They had it. And he came back and said, "Hey, what are you doing over the next 15 minutes? Are you going to be walking around shopping?" I said, "Yeah." "Okay, well, I'll have the book in 15 minutes."
Went and
Ran,
bought the book at retail, and
came back and sold them at the same price they bought it for.
nice. Yeah,
Again, going out of your way, being innovative, being creative,
yeah.
taking care of that customer. So it's a fun book.
I'll have to check it out.
I highly recommend it.
Nice.
Charlie's a hoot.
I'm gonna do it for sure. So we're getting close to our hour timeline.
Uh-huh.
I like to try to wrap it up with um, a question I maybe should have prepared you ahead of time for, but I know you well enough to know that you've got this on the top of your head. One piece of advice for a new or established entrepreneur as they go through this journey. What's one mindset, one process, one thing you can pass on to an entrepreneur that's just getting into it that you think is going to help them out?
The one thing that jumps out, and I should stop and think about this, but the one thing that jumped out immediately, and I have to share that, is the money is not yours. The money is not yours. What's left over is yours.
Yeah.
The money is not yours. So, you do $1 million. Don't don't live like $1 million.
Hmm. Yeah, it ain't gonna work.
That ain't gonna work. What's left over is maybe 10%. you know,
Yeah,
maybe 15, you get hired at 15, you're doing very
you're
good in your
killing it.
business.
Yeah,
Yes. So that's the number one tip I tell every business owner is that the money is not yours. Um, Recognize that, because it's Austin, it's so easy to get caught up in this money game. You have a $20,000 week or $15,000 week. You think you arrived.
yeah. Easy come, easy go, though, man.
You haven't arrived nowhere. The mistakes, you know, our school was averaging 800, 900 a year, and cool. I settled on that.
Yeah,
All of a sudden, all these new laws changed. They broke up the courses. That 800, 900 dropped all the way down to 300.
oof.
So
And you'd already been cruising on that 800 as cash flow and bills
oh,
and
absolutely,
lifestyle, and
absolutely. So So, if I would have had the mindset of that, the money is not yours. And the second piece of advice is, I said it earlier, always refer to someone smarter than you. You know, you mentioned ego. Put the ego aside and go and study those that's already walked down that path. If you're going down the road, Austin, don't ask for advice from people that's going down the same road with you.
Yeah, they're next
Ask,
to you. How are we going to get there? I don't know. We're together.
right. Ask advice from the people that are coming back the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been there.
That's been there. Stop them and
Yeah.
says, hey, what do I have to look for? That's people, we mentioned that we're pack animals. We need each other. When you walk up to a businessman and you ask them for advice, you ask him, he's or she is going to proudly share wisdom with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It feels good. Anytime you add value to someone, it just
It
feels good.
does. It does.
So people don't mind sharing,
Yeah.
you know, uh, uh, um, and people don't mind. Now there are some people out there that are, you
There's
know,
assholes and everything.
absolutely,
But I think part of the growth that you kind of are seeing in me is Derek got me into the EO program with an entrepreneurs organizations where like the people that are legitimate members or own their founders or CEOs of business doing 1 million or more, and just having access to those people. I got in as an advertiser and started going to the function. I was like, wow, this is amazing to have these people. And now I'm in the accelerator program in Orange County, and I've got a mentor that I talk to once a month. And those to be able to ask those questions, to be able to learn from them,
yeah,
to be able to take the shortcuts. Like we're doing more remote workers, and one of the guy has like 200 remote workers. I was like, hey, what's your onboarding like? And he goes, here's the 5 files and here's the step-by-step plan. Cool, that part's done. But the other like when I go have dinner with them and just have those conversations about how they did what they did, or what do you think of this, like you're right, that stuff is so I don't want to keep using the word critical, but it's so powerful,
absolutely.
right, to have that opportunity.
You got behind the wheel of a Lamborghini. Tell me that didn't spark nothing.
Dude, and then buddy let me drive his M3 competition this morning, which is about as fast as that Huracan was. So
Yeah,
I was gonna, when you were talking about the money earlier, I was gonna say that like it's hard to fight that temptation though, right?
yeah,
Like the flip side of that, one, it was amazing. I can't fit in it, so I'm never gonna buy a Lamborghini. I'm too tall. But that, like, one, it's motivator, but two, it's temptation you got to kind of avoid, because it'd be easy to take a big car payment on to
yeah,
look cool, but it's going to hurt your business. And that's some of the things that I also learned the hard way, years past. I try very hard not to buy any more drones, or put money into the car through the business, like mistakes I made in the past. But
right.
yeah, that Huracan was fun, man.
Hmm.
That thing was cool. We didn't drive that far. I probably drove for a good like 15, 20 miles, and
They call that intrinsic motivation.
that
You
thing
know,
was cool. I'd want a bigger something I could fit in that drives like that. Is
yeah.
pretty motivating.
What you said is two powerful quotes. Number one, by Carl Jung. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, facts.
Number two, you hang around 6 millionaires, you're going to be number seven.
Let's end it right there, man. That's perfect.